Hello, and welcome to Crime Labs. As always, please like and subscribe to our channel to help us grow a voice for victims. Today, we will be covering the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German, well known as the Snapchat murders. Please remember, this is an unsolved case involving real girls with families. Please refrain from making inappropriate comments or victim blaming. This video is to spread awareness of the case and help obtain justice for Abby and Libby. Abby and Libby were in school band, enjoyed painting and photography, and their favorite colors were teal and purple. You can help share these flyers and other important case materials at www.abbyandlibby.org. 13-year-old Abby and 14-year-old Libby had a day off from school on February 13th, 2017. They had a sleepover together and got permission from their families to go hiking on a well-trafficked trail east of their hometown of Delphi, Indiana. Libby's sister, Kelsey German, agreed to drive them to the trailhead, and Libby's father, Derek, could pick them up around 3 to 3:15 p.m. Around 1:45 p.m., the girls started their hike and took nature photos. Libby added a photo of Abby to her Snapchat story on the high bridge above the trail at 2:07 p.m. This haunting image is the last moment the girls were confirmed to be alive. At 3:11 p.m., Derek texts or calls Libby to let her know he is on the way, but there was no response. At 3:14 p.m., Derek arrives at the pickup place of the trailhead and calls family to see if they knew anything about the girls' location. Nobody suspected foul play, but family members wondered if they got hurt while hiking, tried to walk home, or lost track of time. Multiple family members showed up to help search for the girls, and police were called to file missing person reports. Police began searching, and volunteers began to show up to aid in the search for the girls around 5:30 p.m. Libby's mom calls AT&T to see if they can track her phone, but they refuse to help. Family became increasingly concerned as night approaches because Libby was afraid of the dark and would not willingly stay out past dusk. Around midnight, police officially suspended the search until morning, but volunteers stayed and searched through the night. The next day, police began searching, but it came to a halt at noon when a volunteer searching found a shoe, and the girls were discovered shortly after. They were located off the trail near a creek. The girls were not alive. The girls' cause of death was never publicly released, but the police have confirmed they were murdered. The police hailed the girls as heroes because they recorded their attacker with their phones. Some of this footage from Libby's phone has been released, showing the perpetrator and his voice. The filming seemed secretive, possibly in her pocket. The girls chat in the footage, and the male suspect can be heard saying, "down the hill." Law enforcement obtained screenshots from the video and released parts of the footage. The girls crossed an old bridge, commonly known as High Bridge, which hasn't operated since the early 1900s. The bridge connects to another hiking trail on the other side of the river. The area is heavily wooded with little visibility. Abigail Williams and Liberty German were laid to rest on February 19th, 2017, with separate funeral services. Hundreds line the roads in the small town to pay their respects. This is the first homicide in Delphi since the 1990s. Everyone felt safe in small-town Delphi. Kelsey German recalls dropping the girls off at the trailhead and regrets not being more observant. She recalls a dark-colored SUV with the rear windows covered in decals, but doesn't recall if anyone was in the vehicle or anything else about it. Police recovered a variety of items and DNA as possible evidence, but it was unclear whether the items were related to the investigation or left behind from previous hikers. The FBI has aided in the investigation and created a profile for the killer. Most of the information is being held confidentially to protect the ongoing investigation, which has resulted in criticism from the public, but it helps to protect the case, false convictions, and creating copycat killers. Police have made public statements that they want information from anyone who parked at the trailhead that day, as well as information for a parked vehicle at an abandoned building near the trails. Law enforcement have also released a photo of a man walking across High Bridge, but did not say where the photo came from. This man is the primary and only suspect police have discussed in the investigation. Multiple sketches of the man have been released in efforts to generate leads. The trails where the murders took place back up to the private property. The private property is owned by Ronald Logan, who is 77 years old at the time of the murders. His property was thoroughly searched. Mr. Logan had an alibi. He was buying tropical fish at the time of the murders. He has been arrested multiple times for being a habitual traffic offender, including drunk driving. He allegedly drove to the city dump on the day of the murders. Police seized Logan's vehicles and searched his property twice in response to tips and rumors about the case. He has not been arrested or named as a suspect in this case. A 55-year-old man named Paul Etter, who is now deceased, was investigated in reference to the murders. He had a 5-hour standoff with police who were trying to arrest him for kidnapping and rape of a 26-year-old woman. The standoff ended with Etter shooting himself on June 27, 2019. Several other suspects were investigated. Since the investigation is ongoing, it is unclear if most suspects were ruled out or could be the possible murderer. We will leave out much of the speculation for this case, but please check out Ominously Positive Podcasts, linked in the description. They have compiled much of the speculation, rumors, theories, and other notes about the case. The small town case has generated tens of thousands of tips and leads, and law enforcement has made it clear that this case is not cold, thanks to the new tips being generated on a regular basis. Abby&Libby Memorial Park is located 1 mile north of Delphi and remains a well-trafficked park, with playgrounds, softball and baseball fields, picnic shelters, amphitheater, and a walking trail around the park with high visibility. Many other community efforts have been put forth in memoriam of the girls. What do you think will come of this case? Will the leads result in a conviction, or will the case go cold? Let's hold a moment of silence for Abby and Libby. Thanks for watching Crime Labs on YouTube. Please click here and watch our other videos.